Is that what the appeal was, signing for Birmingham at that time?
Well, when Harry goes in, does what he did, and then wants to sign you, it's a little bit. It's like, well, he knows what he's talking about. And again, look, we as a team, we said we didn't do well enough for him. Not saying he didn't do anything wrong, but ultimately, once you got on a pitch, we got the manager sacked. So again, you can't not be honest. If you're not honest, then you're not going to be honest with yourself throughout your whole career. So, well, I think we got 3 managers sacked this year. And that was like, well, I'm looking on the other side. Birmingham were fighting with relegation for a few years. So look, we have to take responsibility of the lads that were in that team. But in hindsight, again, I actually enjoyed my time at Birmingham with the people that I met. Still speak to the kit man, who's now at Shrewsbury. Most of the players that were there still speak to. So, look, I've got no bad blood, if you know what I mean, for Birmingham City. Might have for individuals that were there, but I'm not too fussed.
Yeah, you say individuals. Was that the ownership model, or was it different types of people in positions? And obviously, I don't want to kind of get you to throw anyone on the bus, but I'm just interested there in terms of a little bit more critical sense, because there was such a lot of change going on that period. It's hard to put a finger on what might have been the problem. Do you know?
Inside day-to-day ownership, how it was run, maybe a chief executive that was a little bit clueless, the way they went about things, a certain manager that followed, and things happened that I was that pissed off. I brought up and said, look, I can do some research, and things that may or may not have come out that happened with them. It was very hypocritical, let's say, where they was treating some of us. I wasn't the only one, by the way. There was about 8 of us that got shipped away, and it was funny because you're still talking to the lads in the changing room, but you weren't allowed to because they were your teammates. So come out, good luck to the lads on a Saturday, when I leave training on a Friday. All the lads did it. We still talked, but those people felt that they wanted to try and force us out in the worst way, which was training with the under-18s. Just basically, and I managed to get out of loan a few times. I was called Wonga in the turn rooms, short-term loan specialist. So I had a few loans, Coventry, and I was just getting out to play. And at the time, I played for Wycombe, and I got back a match in 2 games, I think it was. And they called me back for no reason. And they said it was because Wycombe weren't paying me enough towards my wages, but I think it might have been because I was doing well, and me doing well in a league below them, and them not doing well. It's like, so why is he not playing for us? And that's where I think, well, why don't you just say there's a reason? I never actually got a reason why I got forced out, not picked. It was always like, you're just not in our plans. But then an opportunity to move came, and it might not have been financially great for Birmingham, but it was getting some money back for me. And because the manager was involved with the other team before, didn't want me going there, and because it would have been a good move for me. So people that know me will probably go, yeah, I know what he's talking about. But I don't want to sound bitter, and I said that on a different podcast. I'm saying these things because it's just things that have happened. I've come through it. I had dark days where I was like, just want to play football. Birmingham City fans were on to me because he was like, well, he's just taking money out of the club. No, but I want to. I'm actively trying to leave for you as well. But they weren't getting the full story. And as you can see, once it was changed, they were never getting the full story. And they'll never probably hear the full story from anyone that side of what happened in that club. And it's such a shame, because when you go to Birmingham, it was a massive club, so it's like, go to Birmingham City, and then you think, how is it possibly getting run like this? But it was, and hopefully things change. And I didn't think it's bad that they got relegated, but now I'm really excited because it gave them a chance to do a total reset. The new owners, right? There's no excuse if we want to get rid of Championship players. People might say, "Oh, they were saving money if they're still in the Championship." No, we're in League One. Get out. We're going to rebuild, and they have. Look, they put the money where their mouth is with the stadium, because that was another thing how he can let that place go, how he did. But look, I still watch out for Birmingham, so I watch out for all the clubs I played for, and because of these things that happen at Birmingham, now there's a changeover. It's actually a nice feeling. Like, all my concerns were for the ownership, and now it's changed. It's like, oh well, I hope the fans get what they deserve for a bit.
Just a quick one to let you know that over 90% of those that watch this channel do not subscribe. So if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button down below. The bigger the channel, the bigger the guests, and more importantly, it's absolutely free. Enjoy the episode.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I'm just interested on your point then. You mentioned that fans might have thought that you were taking money out of the club. Why was it so difficult for you to maybe move on then from your spell at Birmingham? You mentioned the different loan moves. Why was it so awkward in terms of that transaction and coming back and forth? I'm just interested on the concept there in terms of negotiating a potential deal to move away if you're not happy.
Well, I don't know if in my head, maybe because I'm just thinking my side, I was always thinking, oh, they didn't want me to go and do well. So then the fans go, why did we let it go? Whereas it could have been told. That's just me maybe thinking, don't think that you just crap. Maybe a positive angle I'm putting on it. Because there was offers on the table. It wasn't my full wages. I think it was half. But then it was a loan to buy if they went up, this club. So they went from paying all my wages, which they eventually did. They could have got a year's worth of half of it paid. You know, they could pay for another player or whatever. And I wasn't even playing, so it wasn't like they were getting the money's worth. So how it financially stacked up didn't. So even I was saying, right, come on, let's get it done. Even give me a bit of a pay up and then let me go and do it. No. Oh, right. I think one club they asked actually for a fee from me. The club was like, hang on a minute. Why are we going to do that? Which is fair enough. You're not going to. So it was stuff that like could play with your mind and you're like, why? And I think the phrase was, no, I'll just ruin your career. Somebody said to me at that club. So from then on, it was a bit like, wow, well, why should I do the hard work? I was trying to actively do it. And then I just thought, okay, well, what can I do? Eventually, I went out to Wycombe and we got promoted to the Championship that year. At Wembley, the year that my contract was up. And like little things like they wouldn't let me. So you've got to sign an extra loan form to progress into the playoffs. And they wouldn't let me play in the playoffs unless I sacrificed the last month's wages. Which I got it back in the end by getting promoted. But the point was you were trying to save himself some money and not let me be part of that process. So look, it worked out in the end, and again, that's how people. I know the worst side and the good side, and people that can meet in the middle is fair enough. But when you start playing with people as toys, I know your assets, but if you've done them wrong or you think I'm not the right person in the club, right, how do we wrap it up? It might cost us, but let's save a little bit of money. How do we get him, move him on, to be able to rebuild at the same time rather than trying to force him out or trying to sack him for offending it. And never happened.
Did you feel maybe with that ownership that they weren't very strategic in the transfer window? You mentioned Harry Redknapp when they brought you in, and then there was an array of different players. Do you feel that they weren't strategic in budgeting properly, and you're a victim of that in terms of they've realised, well, we've maybe overspent in areas, and there's obviously jeopardised you in terms of where it's led you out of the club? I'm just interested on that, and again, from a fan looking in, that kind of I get the feel that was kind of the vibe. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that.
Yeah, so look, I don't know what the strategy was at the time, but if you look back on it and reflect and go, right, Birmingham's strategy that year to a Brighton strategy when they were in the Championship, nah. I knew they had to get some players in, but the amount that we got in that year, I was just part of that. But is it too many? Is it taking players places that you didn't really have to, you know? When's too many for the atmosphere of the team? And it might not be me. They might have gone, right, oh, well, they did. They had Thomas Kuza. So he's like, well, do they need me? So you look back and think, well, why did they go for me? What was it that made them think, right, yeah, we need two number one? So yeah, if you look back and just be honest and go, I was a bit spray, like, I would just gone, right, we've got some money, let's throw everything at it. Whereas now, you have to kind of really, it's like a 5-year plan. Some clubs have 10-year plans, like, know what they're going to spend. Obviously, there's things that can get thrown in. Someone buys a player for 50 million. You got a little bit of money to spend, but they plan everything out. They do it just offering their 3-year contracts. And like Brighton did, they offered one because of my age. And I got 3 from Birmingham. It's like, well, I'm down a league as such. So yeah, like, now I know a bit more and I'm doing my sporting directorship course. You go, oh yeah, like, and it's not just that, it's just other situations I'll go, never even thought about that when I was playing, like, how the financial fair play works, it's crazy. And that's another thing, like, getting caught up in that should never really happen to club. I mean, Everton and that, like, not Forest, they got caught up where it was by a little bit and use things going on, and that's the rat race, isn't it? Trying to get to the Premier League.
Did that mess with your mental health, David, in terms of that spell at Birmingham? And you mentioned all those different things that happened, and obviously some things are undisclosed and you can't get into too much detail. But how did that impact your well-being?
A little bit, because the first 6 months, I always thought, of being out of the team, so my second year, I still had the mentality of, it's fine, just keep going, you'll get back in. And it took me 6 months to realise, oh shit, this isn't going to happen. And I just went on a spiral. It was like, what is going on? I can't even do the thing that I want to do. And it was Wickham that kind of rang me up first and was like, come on, come play for us for a bit. And it was basically like breath of fresh air, but I had to learn that, like, I'd have to put like a mask on to go to training because you're false, because you just want to say to people a lot of swear words, like, why are you treating people like this? As soon as I went back in and walked in that front door, that was it. Football was gone. And it was like I lost 2 years of playing. Although I played some games on loans because of me being stubborn as well, because I didn't want them to get me and break me. But as well as people treating me like that when they didn't have to. So, yeah, but it was a good job that I had people. I had a lovely house where I could just walk around the garden, and I did quite a bit of fishing. Took an electrician's course, just like you do, and did that. So I just filled my time, and that's why I'm able to speak to people. And what I say to them is, this is what happened to me. If I can show vulnerability to vulnerable people, it's like, oh, so I thought you were meant to be like this great goalkeeper in their eyes. Well, he's vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable, and showing people how to get out of that. It's okay to be feeling like that, but how do we get you out of that and learning to cope with it again?